All right, today we're going to jump into Sol, the love or hate of Solana. We're going to dive in deep. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. Solana is one of those projects that I personally love. Full open disclosure here, I'm invested in Solana. I have been for quite some time, and I continue to see some of the project connectivity points continue to surprise me, even more so than what I thought this project could do. But more importantly, kind of the direction of where this is going and really kind of just the tokenomics of it. If you really analyze and dive into Solana in a deep way, check our video out because we do that. It is one of those projects that can really kind of move things along. And the big question is how this potentially could kind of maybe decouple from Bitcoin. So Solana, of course, right here, decouples from Bitcoin, setting an all-time high. And if you look at where this is coming, recording a new all-time high, $84, further upward pressures could see it rise as high as 108 is what some of the analysts are saying. And of course, the candlestick closed before 78 could invalidate the bullish outlook. Here's the thing that they are basically saying. When you look at the token, it's basically had this big rally. We've seen it. We did see a little bit of a correction here, and I do think the move we're seeing currently right now is a little bit of an overbought position. It does appear that we are going to see maybe some negative price action on Solana, which could open up another opportunity to stair-step this in terms of a project and push it up even further. But it could start to see that and maybe recover, kind of move back down in the space right now. I think the scenario that we have to look at here is going to be not only the traditional TA that's been out there, that a lot of people are doing on Solana and why it's moving, but also just the sentiment analysis. But the key here is going to be some of the partnerships that are driving some of this sentiment, which of course drives order flow and dollar flow. And that of course is what moves the market. I want to jump over here to this topic from Yahoo Finance. And this is basically talking about Pyth Network, which is delivering high-speed Oracle data to the Solana mainnet. And this is a good, for most people just following Solana, this would just be like another headline. Really, does it have a whole lot of impacts? Can it really do something that is unique and special? This one is a bit different, and that is very interesting because Dave Olson, basically the chief investment officer, Jump Trading Group, one of the leading firms involved with Pyth, believes the project could play a vital role in the adoption of centralized financial technology. He is looking at this as Pyth being one of the core elements that is moving into DeFi mainstream adoption, with Solana as being one of the premium projects that would basically enable all of this to happen. And when you think about where that's going and how this is all connected, it goes into this project called Wormhole. And Wormhole is basically launches a cross-chain bridge connecting Sol, ETH, and Binance Smart Chain, and of course Terra. So if you're not invested in some of these, this might be a good time to take a look at these projects. We've talked about Terra before. Obviously ETH, we're a big proponent of that. But basically this is a mainnet that launches interchain portal for smart contracts. So this is going to be cool because the fact that it does go across all of these major projects, and the opportunity here for this is going to be big time. First Wormhole protocol operates as a bidirectional cross-chain bridge. Talked about that. However, this removes the protocol from application logic in order to allow the development of multi-chain messaging, which changes the core protocol for each use case. Now, what that simply means in English is this has the capacity to essentially manage and divert smart contracts in a new model or new way that could potentially open up cross-chain opportunity, which is a big deal right now in the sense of how banks, because see, banks, you understand how the banking system works on DeFi, they're doing this already, but they're doing it with a lot of manual systems. What this would essentially do is enable all of that to become lightning fast and basically in a smart contract model across chain, across different protocols, and being able to adjust each one. So it wouldn't matter if you were dealing with international countries, international fiat, or international banks that have to usually convert funds. This is going to all be smart contract driven. That's going to give you direct access to how all of this plugs in. So a trustless bridge like Wormhole represent the forefront of interoperable blockchain infrastructure. This is basically the Solana Labs Anatoly Yakinova. I always get his name wrong. But the point being is he believes this technology is the key to be able to move where all of smart contracts are going in terms of DeFi and how all of this space can really make a big difference in the banking system. So again, that's why Sol is a project to continue to take a close eye on and watch. I want to jump to the chart real quick just to kind of show you some of the movement that we've been tracking over the past month. This was a sentiment bubble we pulled back in August on the 17th, and you can kind of see the movement here. Sentiment was 68.11, which is still a very strong sentiment score. Amplification a little soft, which is where we saw a little bit of that sideways action with this nice little high right here. Sideways action, though, did hold true, with the exception, of course, that one little spot right there that was outside of our analysis. But pretty much everything else did hold in the space. The second bubble that we pulled, which is right here recently, and we're already starting to see it overperform, is on what looks to be August 24th through the it was that 1 day span right there. So sentiment right there, 69.74. Amplification rose significantly. This is where I think we're seeing this kind of movement right here. Now, because of the price barriers that Solana could, even though they are thinking that this is a 108 kind of potential, because of those price barriers and some of the downward push, the question is whether or not Solana comes and traps back in here and sees a lower push. Personally, I think we will see a little bit of a correction right here. That's going to be the question. Or if this thing continues to fly, that will be a big scenario to watch, because it could produce, we just need another downward trend to really record an accurate sentiment array on where Solana is moving. Because when the trends go down, that's when sentiment gets very pure, because you're going to shake out all of the moon boys and you really get the project backers, or the people that are really in for Solana in a long term. And that's where sentiment can be scored accurately, and you can look at what that means, because usually that picks up more investors as a project continues to grow on the charts. So that's kind of how it's going to go here. I think with Solana, it would be interesting to watch this one, because this is a big project that, with all of the movement that's happening with Solana, all the partnerships, and also the strategy, and also, if you look back, people still believe Solana is the Ethereum killer. Could that happen? You know, Ethereum has such a head start here. I think in essence, all they need is ETH 2.0 to really get the transaction numbers in place. And I think you've got a head-to-head race here that's going to be an interesting one to watch. So, of course, if you guys are listening in over on the podcast, best thing to do is give us some subs over there. We do appreciate that, because Spotify is doing amazing over there. So thanks for listening in over on Spotify. I know maybe you are driving and you can't watch the show on YouTube, and that's where you catch it, which is great. But if you can, get in your spot on your mobile phone, and of course, subscribe right here to Paul Barron Network, and of course the show Tech Path, where we cover a lot of blockchain, innovative tech, EV, really where robotics and autonomy are going. That's kind of our gig, and I think a lot of people love it. So make sure and share it with some of the people you know who are thinking about investing and or understanding how technology is shifting our society right now. If you want to reach out to me direct, do it on Twitter. It's right at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on Tech Path.